Today we're going to do Dino. Ready? Hello, Dino. Hello, Dino. We welcome you today, Dino. Hello, Dino. Hello, Dino. We're glad you came our way to share with us a preschool day and be a friend in a very special way. Hello, Dino. Hello, Dino. We welcome you today. Hello! Okay, guys, now it's story time. Let's take out the books. We're going to read 2 or 3 today. Amelia Bedelia and the Baby. But Mrs. Rogers, said Amelia Bedelia, I don't know a thing about babies. How can I babysit? Why, Amelia Bedelia, said Mrs. Rogers, you are very good with children. Yes, said Amelia Bedelia, I get along fine with children. Babies are children too, said Mrs. Rogers. If you say so, said Amelia Bedelia. Now you run along, said Mrs. Rogers. Mrs. Lane is waiting. So Amelia Bedelia ran to Miss Lane's house. She knocked on the door. Do come in, said Mrs. Lane. I'm already late. Here is your list. I hope I didn't forget anything, but you will know what to do. I will, said Amelia Bedelia. I gave Missy her lunch, said Miss Lane. She is in her playpen. Miss Lane left. How about that, said Amelia Bedelia. Babies are kept in pens. Amelia Bedelia found Missy. Hi, Missy, she said. Missy looked at Amelia Bedelia. She began to cry. Oh, said Amelia Bedelia, what should I do? What does that list say? Amelia Bedelia read, Give Missy a bottle. She hurried to the kitchen, then she stopped. That can't be right, said Amelia Bedelia. Babies shouldn't have bottles. They could break. She thought a bit. I know, she said. I'll give her a can, or maybe a box. Missy howled louder. I'll give her both, said Amelia Bedelia, and she did. Missy picked up the can. She threw it. She picked up the box. She threw it. And she howled. All right, said Amelia Bedelia. I'll find something else. She gave Missy one thing after another, but Missy just howled louder. Maybe you are hungry, said Amelia Bedelia. I'll get you a cookie. She ran to the kitchen. The back door opened. Anybody home? Called Miss Carter. I'm here, said Amelia Bedelia. Here are some strawberries, said Mrs. Carter. I hear Missy. Why is she crying? Beats me, said Amelia Bedelia. I'm at my wit's end. Have you given her a bottle? Said Mrs. Carter. A bottle, said Amelia Bedelia. I have not. I think that is what she wants, said Miss Carter. I'll fix one for her. You put the strawberries in something else. I need my basket. All right, said Amelia Bedelia. Soon Miss Carter said, The bottle is ready. Good, said Amelia Bedelia. Here's your basket. Miss Carter left. Amelia Bedelia looked at the bottle. Always something new, she said. This bottle won't break. It's just fine for babies. She gave the bottle to Missy. Missy stopped crying. I am glad to know about those bottles, said Amelia Bedelia. They do shush up babies. Missy finished her bottle. Amelia Bedelia looked at the list. Good, she said. You get a bath now. I know about that. Amelia Bedelia got everything ready. She put Missy in the tub. Soon Missy was all clean. That's done, said Amelia Bedelia. Back into your pen you go. Amelia Bedelia got the list. She read, Be sure to use the baby powder. She found the powder, and Amelia Bedelia used it. My, I smell good, she said. That was nice of Miss Lane. Now what does she want me to do? She looked at the list. From 2 until 3 is nap time, said Amelia Bedelia. She shook her head. No, said Amelia Bedelia. I won't do it. I won't take a nap. I hate naps. Amelia Bedelia thought a bit. Then she said, I know, those strawberries. I will make a surprise. I do make good strawberry tarts. She started for the kitchen. First, she said, I'll see what Missy is doing. She went to the playpen. How about that? Missy likes naps, said Amelia Bedelia. She can take mine for me. I've got better things to do. She went to the kitchen. She put some of this and a little of that into a bowl. She mixed and she mixed. Soon her tarts were made. Those do look pretty, she said. She put the tarts away. Missy began to cry. Missy is awake, said Amelia Bedelia. Let me see what I should do. It says to give her a mashed banana, she said. That will be easy. She got a banana and she mashed it. This is fun, said Amelia Bedelia, but I better give it to Missy. Missy took the banana. She looked at it. Then she mashed it. She mashed it harder and harder. Suddenly, the skin popped. Banana squished all over Missy. Missy clapped her hands. Then she ate the squishy banana. Amelia Bedelia laughed. I never saw anything like that before, she said, but she had fun, and it was her banana. Then Missy began to fuss. I can forget the list for now, said Amelia Bedelia. I know what you need. You need another bath. So Missy got another bath. Babies do need a lot of washing, said Amelia Bedelia. She dressed Missy. Now, back to the list, she said. Put Missy in her stroller, she read. Amelia Bedelia did that. Then she read, but first put a sweater on her. Amelia Bedelia took Missy out of the stroller. Your mamma should have said that first, said Amelia Bedelia. She put a sweater on Missy. Back in you go, she said. She looked at the list again. Tarnation, she said. Your mamma can't make up her mind. Now she says to take you out for a while. Amelia Bedelia took Missy out of the stroller. In and out, she said. I'm plumb tired. Amelia Bedelia put Missy in her playpen. She looked at the list. You must be out for good, she said. It says playtime is until 5 o'clock. Now that is a treat. I don't get to play much. Amelia Bedelia looked around. Now what shall I play? She said. She saw Missy's toy box. Look at all the toys, she said. Amelia Bedelia sat down. She began to play. She played first with one toy, then she played with another. Oh, what fun, she said. I wish I had toys like these. Missy began to fuss. Amelia Bedelia looked at her watch. Shoot, she said. It's 5 o'clock. Playtime is over. She put away the toys. Then she looked at the list. It's time for your supper, she said. The list says I should give you some baby food. Amelia Bedelia picked up Missy. She went to the kitchen. Amelia Bedelia put Missy in her chair. She took off Missy's sweater and then read from the list. Don't forget to put on Missy's bib. Amelia Bedelia found the bib. That's plumb cute, she said, and Amelia Bedelia put it on. Now, she said, I'll make your supper. Amelia Bedelia scurried around. She made baby hamburgers. She cooked baby potatoes. She sliced baby tomatoes. That is a good supper, said Amelia Bedelia. She started to give it to Missy. Oh, she said, the catsup. I forgot the catsup. She poured catsup over everything. Children do love catsup, said Amelia Bedelia. She gave Missy her supper. Missy tasted it. She smiled, and Missy ate her supper. Amelia Bedelia laughed. You really liked that, she said. You will like this, too. Amelia Bedelia got a strawberry tart. Here, she said. Missy grabbed the tart. She ate all of that, too. You are a mess, said Amelia Bedelia. You need washing again. Mr. and Mrs. Lane came in. My baby, said Mrs. Lane. What did you do to her? What is that red stuff? Red stuff? Said Amelia Bedelia. Oh, some of it is catsup, she said. The rest is strawberries. Catsup? Strawberries? Said Mrs. Lane. She can't eat things like that. Oh, yes, she can, said Amelia Bedelia. She loves them. Why did I leave Missy with you? Said Mrs. Lane. You don't know a thing about babies. Mr. Lane ate a strawberry tart. Delicious, he said. Don't you ever, said Mrs. Lane. But that was as far as she got. Her mouth was full of strawberry tart. My favorite, she said. Missy began to cry. Mrs. Lane went to her, but Missy wanted Amelia Bedelia. She never did that before, said Mr. Lane. Amelia Bedelia must know something we don't. I think she knows a lot, said Mrs. Lane. I'm sorry I got angry. Will you come again? I would love to, said Amelia Bedelia, but I have to go now. Amelia Bedelia walked home. I declare, she said, that was plumb fun. Babies are real people, and I get along just fine with them. Dazzle the Dinosaur. When Mother Myosaurus came back to her nest, she was surprised to find another egg next to her own. It certainly was not her egg. Where could it have come from? She wondered. Instinctively, she covered up both eggs to protect them. The valley was a dangerous place. Food was scarce, and water was hard to find. There were even some dinosaurs who raided nests as soon as a mother's back was turned. The other Myosauruses were curious about this odd-looking egg. As soon as the two eggs started to crack, they all came running to see what would hatch. From the mother's own speckled egg, out stepped a sweet-looking baby girl. Everyone oohed and awed. When the other eggs started to crack open, they held their breath, but then they sighed. It was just an ordinary baby dinosaur. The Myosauruses were about to turn away when the baby dino gave a little yawn, stretched, and up popped a row of glowing spines along his back. They had never seen anything like it. What kind of dinosaur are you? They asked. I don't know, the little dinosaur said shyly. Mother Myosaurus couldn't take her eyes off the glittering spines. We'll call you Dazzle, she said softly. Mother Myosaurus named the little girl Maya, and soon she and Dazzle were the best of friends. Every day they would go out and play, finding fresh fruits and roots to eat, but they were never allowed to go beyond the edge of the trees. Everywhere they turned, there was a Myosaurus watching, keeping them safe. One night, Maya and Dazzle were awake when they should have been sleeping. What are you thinking about? Maya asked her friend. I wish we could go off on our own and explore without someone watching us all the time, Dazzle said. We can't because it's too dangerous around here, Maya said. The Deinonychus raids our nests and the Tyrannosaurus rex chases us away from the water. Then why do we live here? Asked Dazzle. Mother told me that our family used to live in a cave in a valley surrounded by mountains that kept us safe. There was a fresh spring in the cave, and the valley was filled with trees and ferns. What happened? Dazzle asked. Long ago, when Mother was young, a vicious Dragonsaurus took over our cave when all the Myosauruses were out eating. He was so fierce that they had to move away. I won't stand for that, Dazzle said sleepily. We'll have to chase him out. Yes, yawned Maya. It's up to you and me. In the morning, the two little dinosaurs couldn't wait to get started on their adventure. They went through the trees as they did every day, but this time they scampered off and disappeared among the rocks. Dazzle was a little scared, but Maya cheered him on. The mountains are nearby. If we climb up these rocks, we'll be able to see them. Just then, the rocks beneath them rumbled and shook. It was an earthquake! Maya and Dazzle were tossed to the ground. Then, suddenly, a giant stegosaurus stood in front of them. Those weren't rocks they were climbing. It was the stegosaurus's back. Why are you two little dinosaurs so far away from home? Asked the kind stegosaurus. We're just playing a game, Maya said quickly. You had better watch out, Stegosaurus said. You are lucky it was me you climbed on and not a Tyrannosaurus rex. She's right, said Dazzle. We probably should go home now. So Dazzle and Maya turned back for their grove of trees, where all the Myosauruses would look out for them and keep them safe. But just as they found some tall ferns to eat, they heard the rumbling thunder of giant footsteps and an ear-shattering roar. It was a Tyrannosaurus rex! He had spotted the two little dinosaurs, and he was hungry. Split up, cried Maya. Twist and turn. Find a place to hide. Run! So Dazzle ran away from his friend, dashing under the branches and in and out of shadows. But every time the sunlight flashed on his spines, the Tyrannosaurus rex gave another roar and came after him. Finally, Dazzle saw a dark grassy hollow, and he curled up inside, keeping his spines from showing. He barely dared to breathe. Tyrannosaurus rex lumped and thumped and roared, until finally he gave up. Dazzle waited a long time before he climbed out to find Maya. "Poor Dazzle," Maya cried as she jumped out of some ferns. "Your spines kept giving you away. You're lucky he didn't catch you." Dazzle was just happy to be alive. He wanted a nap. The two of them found a nice warm tree trunk to lean against, and they fell fast asleep. They didn't wake up until their tree trunk lifted up from the ground and shook itself. "I'm sorry to disturb you," said a deep voice, "but my leg was getting stiff." It was an apatosaurus. "What are you doing so far from home?" he asked. Maya decided to tell the truth this time. "We were trying to find the cave where my family used to live." "But we got lost," said Dazzle. "Could you show us the way?" He wanted to say home, but Maya interrupted. "The way to the cave?" she finished. The apatosaurus waved his long neck thoughtfully. "The Dragonsaurus is a dangerous dinosaur," he said. "But as long as it's still daytime, I don't see the harm. The Dragonsaurus is terrified of light." The apatosaurus reached his head above the trees and called to the flying reptiles for help. Down swooped 2 pterodactyls and a Quetzalcoatlus. "I'll take you there," said the Quetzalcoatlus, who was big enough to carry the 2 little dinosaurs. "But you have to be ready to go back at sunset. I'm not staying around when that Dragonsaurus wakes up." They reached the cave just as the afternoon sun shone on the trees in the valley. Nothing had ever looked so beautiful to the little dinosaurs. They peered into the cave and could see the Dragonsaurus fast asleep. They had to get rid of him so their family could return home. But how? Maya bravely crept into the cave. Suddenly, the Dragonsaurus sniffed and jumped up, blinking his eyes. Maya was trapped! The Dragonsaurus gave a mighty roar. Dazzle thought fast. Quickly, he turned his back so that every spine caught the sunshine and reflected the light right into the giant dinosaur's eyes. The Dragonsaurus screamed and ran out of the cave to escape the light, but since it was bright outside as well, the Dragonsaurus just kept running. Maya and Dazzle took a long drink of water from the fresh spring and went outside to meet the Quetzalcoatlus. "What did you do to the Dragonsaurus?" he asked in amazement. "I saw him running away." "Dazzle scared him off with his beautiful, dazzling spines," exclaimed Maya. "He saved my life." The Quetzalcoatlus flew the 2 little dinosaurs back to their family so they could tell everyone the great news. The next day, Dazzle and the Mayasauruses climbed the mountains and settled in their old cave. "Tomorrow," said Maya, "we can explore our new forest." "All by ourselves," said Dazzle. "And you can let your spine shine as much as you want," whispered Mother Mayasaurus. "You'll be safe here." The end. Okay, for this next part, let's pause the video and get to the table so we can have our snack. And while you're having your snack, I'm going to read you the next chapter for the Jack and Annie story. What happened to them? Magic Treehouse, Book 4, Pirates Past Noon. Chapter 8, Dig Dogs Dig. Pinky and Stinky tied their rope around the big rock. The wind howled. The 2 pirates pulled and pulled and pulled. "They need help," said Jack. "Ah, let the dogs do the work," growled Captain Bones. "You're not very nice to them," said Annie. "Who cares?" roared Captain Bones. "Captain, we got it!" shouted Pinky. They started pulling the rock across the sand. "Now let's dig where the rock was," said Jack. "All of us!" But Captain Bones ignored his suggestion. "Dig, you dogs!" he shouted. Pinky and Stinky started to dig. The wind blew even harder. There was going to be a thunderstorm. "Ow! I got sand in me eyes!" Pinky whined. "Ow! Me back hurts!" Stinky cried. "Dig!" shouted Captain Bones. He held Jack and Annie with one hand. With the other, he pulled out the gold medallion. He tossed it at the 2 pirates. It fell into the hole. "Dig for more of these, you swine," he said. "Squawk!" "Look," Annie said. Polly was back. She was circling above them. "Go back!" she squawked. Stinky and Pinky looked up at the parrot. They scowled. "Dig!" shouted Captain Bones. "A big storm is coming, Captain," said Pinky. "Go back," said Polly. "The bird's an omen, Captain," shouted Stinky. "Dig, you dogs," cried Captain Bones. Go back! Squawked Polly. The bird's warning us, shouted Pinky. We've got to get to the ship before it's too late. The two pirates threw down their shovels. They started running toward the rowboat. Mutineers, come back! Shouted Captain Bones. He dragged Jack and Annie down the beach as he ran after his men. Stop! But the pirates kept running. They got to the rowboat and pushed it into the sea. Wait! Cried Captain Bones. Pinky and Stinky jumped into the boat. They started rowing. Wait! Captain Bones let go of Jack and Annie. He ran into the water. Wait, you dogs! He hauled himself into the rowboat. Then the three pirates disappeared into the spray of the waves. Go back! Squawked Polly. She means us, said Annie. Just then the storm broke over the island. The wind howled. Rain fell in buckets. Let's go, cried Annie. Wait, I have to get the medallion, shouted Jack. He ran to the hole dug by the pirates. He looked down in it. Even in the dreary light, the medallion was shining. Big, fat raindrops were falling into the hole, washing away the sand. Jack saw a patch of wood. Then the rain cleared away more sand, and Jack saw the top of an old trunk. He stared. Was it Captain Kidd's treasure chest? Hurry, Jack, cried Annie. She was halfway up the treehouse ladder. I found it, cried Jack. I found the treasure chest. Forget the treasure chest, said Annie. We have to go now. The storm's getting worse. Jack kept staring at the chest. Was there gold inside? Silver? Precious gems? Come on! Now Annie was shouting from the treehouse window, but Jack couldn't tear himself away. He brushed the rest of the muddy sand off the chest. Jack, forget the treasure chest, cried Annie. Let's go. Go back, squawked Polly. Jack looked at the parrot. She was perched on the black rock. He stared into her wise eyes. He thought he knew her from somewhere else. Go back, Jack, she said. She sounded like a person. Okay, it was definitely time to go. Jack took one last look at the treasure chest. He clutched the gold medallion. Then he took off, running toward the treehouse. His socks and rain boots were still there. He quickly pulled the boots on. He shoved the socks into his backpack. The rope ladder was dancing wildly in the wind. Jack grabbed it. The ladder swayed as Jack climbed. He was tossed this way and that, but he held on tight. At last, he pulled himself into the treehouse. Let's go, he cried. Annie was already holding the Pennsylvania book. She pointed to the picture of Frog Creek. I wish we could go there, she shouted. The wind was already blowing hard, but now it blew even harder. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still, absolutely still. Okay, guys, let's do singing time. What song should we pick? Let's do this one. Okay, guys, ready? Let's sing the ABCs. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Okay, guys, ready? Let's sing Days of the Week our Days of the Week song in Spanish. Ready? Domingo, lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado. These are the 7 days of the week. Okay, guys, let's do our Days of the Week song in English. Ready? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. These are the 7 days of the week. Okay, guys, ready? We're going to work on our alphabet flashcards. Ready, go! A for apple. B for bed. C for cat. D for duck. E for elephant. F for frog. G for guitar.